Evil Dead Rise is the new addition to the Evil Dead franchise and features a family of five who discover the Necronomicon, and evil is unleashed on this family. Some survive and some turn into Deadites, so let's talk about Evil Dead Rise. So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'll be talking about Evil Dead Rise. So my first initial thoughts on Evil Dead Rise is that I absolutely love this film. I thought it was a great theater experience, and I also thought it was a brilliant horror movie. This is another great addition to the Evil Dead franchise, and I can't wait to talk about it. So let's dive into the review for Evil Dead Rise. For the story for Evil Dead Rise, it follows a family of five when an earthquake strikes the area to where they live. The three children of this family discover a hole that this earthquake creates. The son of these three children decides he wants to explore this hole that the earthquake has created. When he explores this hole, he realizes that this hole is a vacant, ancient bank vault, and within this bank vault, he discovers some vinyl records and the famous Necronomicon. He decides to gather these items and bring it back to his room. He decides to play these vinyl records, which then summon the Evil Dead and activate the Necronomicon. And once the Necronomicon is activated, the Evil Dead goes straight to the mother and affects the mother with the evil, and she is the first Deadite in the movie. So for me personally, this follows the same exact formula that every other Evil Dead film has done, and I think that is a good thing because this formula is not bad and has worked every single time. Now, the only thing that is done differently is instead of finding the Necronomicon in this old cabin, they find it in the bank vault, but I don't really have a huge problem with that. But overall, I think this story is pretty straightforward, but it does the trick. Like I said before, like the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Evil Dead Rise follows that entirely. So I thought the story was pretty spectacular. The big takeaway for Evil Dead Rise is that its main focus is to deliver an absolutely horrifying horror movie, and the horror in Evil Dead Rise is absolutely fantastic. Now, this franchise is known for its awesome and interesting horror, and Evil Dead Rise delivers a new set of horror that you haven't seen yet in the franchise. This time, the Deadites, who are the demon kind of force in the Evil Dead universe, are absolutely extreme, and they do a lot of things that not only scare you, but make you kind of go, oh boy, here we go. They do a lot of violent and gory stuff that I just personally thought, as a fan of this franchise, added to the overall experience to not only the movie specifically for Evil Dead Rise, but the franchise as well. As always, I have to talk about the entertainment value. So how is the entertainment value for Evil Dead Rise? For me personally, I thought this movie was an absolute blast. This was an absolutely fantastic theater experience that provided me with a ton of great moments. They provided absolutely phenomenal horror elements along with a ton of gruesome, gory kills that I 100% will remember. This movie just overall is a great package with a ton of homages to the other Evil Dead movies in the entire franchise. And overall, this is just a great package for not only horror fans, but for some people that love the Evil Dead franchise. So for me, when I was going to the theater, I was pretty excited to see it, and I was definitely rewarded when this movie gave me exactly what I needed and entertained me from start to finish in a absolutely glory fashion. Before I give my overall thoughts and grade for Evil Dead Rise, there was one negative that I had with the film. So within Evil Dead Rise, I think the characterization could have been a lot better. The problem that I have with this characterization is that it follows these five family members, and it really doesn't do anything after that. There's no backstory within any of these five family members, and once the Necronomicon is activated and the Evil Dead is spawned and it takes control of the mother, it just becomes the mother trying to kill the remaining family members and them trying to survive from the mother. None of these characters have a backstory, so you don't really feel for any of these characters besides, I guess, the mother, because she's a mother. I mean, it's just very scarce and very lackadaisical. Unlike the 2013 remake with the character of Mia, she actually had a backstory and you actually cared about this character. So when she became the Deadite, you actually felt bad that not only she went through a ton of stuff when she was a human, but now she's a Deadite. She's getting everything thrown at her. And I think that's what the 2013 remake does, something a lot better than what Evil Dead Rise does. But nevertheless, I still think Evil Dead Rise was a great experience. I just thought that the characterization could have been a lot better. Overall, Evil Dead Rise was an absolutely fantastic experience. It provided horror elements that were truly gritty and terrifying, and it just had an overall great cinematic package. For me, as a huge fan of this Evil Dead franchise, I thought Evil Dead Rise was another great addition to this franchise I know and love, and it was just absolutely phenomenal, and it blew me out of the water. So what am I going to give Evil Dead Rise? Come get some. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. Evil Dead Rise gets 2 thumbs up because I absolutely was blown away by this movie. This was a true extraordinary theater experience. I haven't liked a movie this much since Top Gun Maverick, and this movie blew me out of the water. I do have some criticisms with the characterization that I've already talked about, but I still think that this movie was absolutely phenomenal, and for that, I'm going to give it my highest grade, 2 thumbs up. Now, should you go out and see Evil Dead Rise, my recommendation to you is 100% go see this movie. I absolutely love this movie, so if you are an Evil Dead fan, this is the movie for you. I think you should go see this in the theater. This was an absolutely great theater experience for me, but if you're not about the theater, I think at some point you 100% should watch this movie. I was blown away by it, so if you haven't seen it and you're thinking about seeing it, I totally recommend this movie. For me personally, I am going to buy this movie when it comes out because I already have basically every single Evil Dead film, and this is going to be another great addition to not only my collection, but the overall franchise for Evil Dead. There you have it. That's my review for Evil Dead Rise, and this concludes my Evil Dead Marathon week. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did creating it. I promised my friend Kyle that I would include in this video my personal ranking of each film in the Evil Dead franchise. So this picture right here is my ranking of the franchise. So let me know down in the comments if you agree with me on this ranking, and let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are on Evil Dead Rise. Thank you so much for watching this, and if you like this, please click that like button. And if you want to see me again with awesome, cool videos and reviews, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Till then, stay groovy. I'll see you next time. Peace.